The Panthers open their season at the relatively new Mansfield High School, Lake Ridge, and have the first possession. And senior Stephen Quinn gets the game and the season started right, nailing a 3-point shot. Senior Clarence Taylor makes a good roll in the lane for a bank shot hoop. Senior Jordan Massenberg hits a 17-foot shot. Junior Jeremiah Coleman snares a long rebound and puts it back. And Coach Chisholm and his assistants monitor the action. But after one, it's 19-13, Lake Ridge. In the second, it's an inbounds play, and senior Cameron Massey passes to Clarence, who scores and is fouled. And his free throw gave the Panthers a 1-point lead, 2.5 minutes into the second. And later, senior Jacoby Pearson picks up a loose ball and scores. Junior Miles Bennett is in, and he pulls up and hits a nice baseline shot. And at the half, it's 31-24 Panthers. In the third quarter, Stephen gets a rebound and scores on a well-defended shot in the lane. And then Cameron makes some big steps to score on his left-handed off-the-board shot. Then with his toe on the circle, he hits a long two-point shot just before Jacoby stays behind that arc on the floor and hits a three. JaBryant Hill is in and dishes to Ian Gooden for the easy layup to close the third quarter with the Panthers leading by 17 points. In the fourth, Stephen dishes to Jordan Massenberg down low for two. And then Jordan steals, scores, and is fouled. Cameron drives, stops, pops in the lane. Free throws down the stretch, and this last second basket by Lake Ridge made the final 61-49. Jacoby had 15 points, Jordan 13, and Cameron 12 to lead the scores as the Panthers open the season with a victory. On the weekend, the Panthers again were invited to play in the Texas Invitational in Pasadena, and in their first game in pool play, they beat Deer Park 65-61 with Cameron, Jacoby, C.J. Taylor, and Stephen leading a very balanced scoring attack. Next, the Panthers defeated Fort Bend Elkins 65-46. On Friday, Katy Morton Ranch was the next pool play game, and the Panthers defeated them 77-62. In their semifinal game, the Allen Eagles were there, and it was close, but won by the Panthers 64-62. In the championship game, in the Gold Division, the Katy Tompkins team were the other finalists, and they edged the Panthers, who suffered their first loss of the season. Jacoby was on the all-tournament team. Then on Tuesday afternoon, with school out for Thanksgiving, the Panthers hosted Fort Worth O.D. Wyatt to an expected quality but light crowd, and Cam gets it started with this shot down the lane. Stephen hits an 18-foot shot. And then Jacoby takes an inbound pass and nails a three-point shot. And after one, the Panthers have a 19-7 lead. Stephen opens the second with a drive down the lane for 2 and 1. It don't happen a lot. A dunk. Cam. C.J. Taylor scores off a move in the lane. And then he nails a 3-point shot to maintain the Panther lead. Cameron makes a drive down the lane for 2 and 1. And the Duncanville crowd likes it because at the half, the Panthers lead 39-33. Jordan opens the second half with a 17-foot field goal. And then Coach Chisholm works the bench as O.D. White has pulled to within 1 point. Jacoby banks home a 3-point shot. Then is ahead of the pack for a snowbird. Jordan hits a 3-point shot from the top. And scoring most of the last points of the third quarter, it's 55-45 Panthers. CJ hits a shot from behind that arc on the floor early in the fourth quarter. And Cameron says, I can do that, and does and is fouled in the act. And free throws later, it's over. Final, Panthers 77 and O.D. White 66. Jordan scored 17 points. Cam and Jacoby had 15 apiece, and Stephen scored 13 as the Panthers record their 6th win of the season. The Panthers played the last game of the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest against Putman West of Oklahoma City. And Clarence takes Jordan's tip and just tries to take it home, but has to pass to Jordan, who scores on a tough reverse layup. Stephen Quinn takes the baseline for 2 and 1. On this fast break, Jacoby makes the good pass to Clarence, who scores easily. Cameron is trapped in the backcourt, but gets the ball over to Cameron, who nails a 3-point shot. And then Jacoby is ahead of the pack and scores. And after 1, it's 16-12 Panthers. In the second, Jacoby makes a good pass to Jordan for the hoop. Then he follows with a 3-point basket of his own. It's tied late in the first half when Keyshawn Hoskins rebounds and scores in heavy lane traffic. And at the half, it's a 5-point lead for the Panthers. In the third, Ian Gooden scores on a break. And then Coach Chisholm sees a call that he doesn't necessarily agree with and does his deal. Jordan hits a fall away. And then Stephen hits a 3-point shot. Putman hits a long 3-point shot to close the third quarter as the Panthers lead 43-37. Due to turnovers and poor shooting, the Panthers lead is only 1 point, but Stephen makes a driving hoop. And then with a minute and a half left and ahead by 3, the Panthers go into a slowdown mode. But Jacoby makes a good drive for 2. Not unusual. Lots of free throws down the stretch. And Cameron And Stephen. And Clarence. All contribute. Final. Panthers 62 and Putman 56. Stephen had 16, Jacoby 13, and Jordan scored 12. And CJ had 10 as the Panthers go to 7-1. On the weekend, the Panthers participated again in the Gene Messer shootout in Lubbock with the following results. On Thursday, they defeated Lubbock Trinity Christian 66-45 with Jordan scoring 16 and Stephen 12. And then Friday, they whipped Plainview 85-38 with 11 players in the scoring column. And then they slipped by Sherman 60-56 in the semifinals with Jacoby getting 23 and Stephen 16. And Jordan had 15 to lead the way. Then in the championship game, Rockwall Heath was the other finalist, and the Panthers held on to defeat them 57-47. Jacoby had 18, Jordan 13, and Stephen scored 11. Jacoby was named the most valuable player of the tournament, and Stephen was named to the all-tournament team. Congratulations, Panthers. On Tuesday, it's the long trip north. No, not Sherman, not McKinney, not Plano, but Dallas Kimball and Sprague Fieldhouse. And there's a couple of big Panther fans on hand for this road trip. And Jacoby opens things with a three-point basket from the top. CJ steals at midcourt and takes it to the house. Then he hits a rainbow from the far corner. Later, Jacoby again. Three again. CJ drives and he loses the ball in mid-jump, but gets it over to Stephen for the basket. And after one, the Panthers are leading 19-15. In the second, Ian Gooden hits a shot from behind that arc on the floor. And at the half, Kimball has taken a 1-point lead. Miles Bennett opens the third with a rat-a-tat-tat basket. And then Stephen scores on an inbounds play. Down by 18. Jacoby hits a much-needed three-point shot to leave the Panthers trailing by 15 after 3 quarters. Miles drives early in the fourth quarter for 2 and 1. And then Stephen picks up a loose ball in the lane, misses the shot, but rebounds, scores, and is fouled. But Kimball hit some great shots down the stretch, and they win 70-58. Jacoby had 16 for the Panthers, and Stephen scored 14 as the Panthers dropped to 11-2 on the season. Friday night, the Chris Bosch Hoop Fest was going on over at PC Cobb Fieldhouse in Dallas, and the Panthers, as they did last year, played the Carrollton Newman Smith Trojans out of 14-5A, and Jordan gets it started with a mini hook on the baseline, and then CJ Taylor gets loose for 2 and 1. Ian Gooden hits a rainbow from the far corner as the Panthers jump to an early lead. And then CJ again. 3. Cameron makes the good pass into Stephen Quinn for 2 more. And then on a break, Miles Bennett feeds Jabrian Hill for the layup. And it's 23-14 after 1. In the second, Cameron hits a rainbow of his own, as does Ian. Chris Thompson gets in the act, recovering a loose ball in the lane to close out the first half, with the Panthers leading 43-28. There's some of the Panther fans at Cobb Fieldhouse Friday night to see the Panthers and the Trojans. In the third, Jacoby dishes to Jordan for 2 on a break. And then Jacoby drives, stops, and pops in the lane. CJ makes the good disguised pass to Ian for a point blank hoop. And Cameron drives and scores from his favorite side. Stephen nails a 3-point basket. And after 3, it's 61-38 Panthers. In the fourth, CJ passes out to Stephen, who hits a shot from behind that arc on the floor. And then Jacoby gets it down to CJ, who hits another rainbow. Patrick Durham is in and scores amongst 4 Trojans. Final, Panthers 80 and Carrollton Newman Smith 52. Ian had 14. CJ and Stephen had 13 apiece. Cameron 11 and Jacoby 10 in a very well-balanced scoring attack. On Tuesday, it was over to play those Mesquite Skeeters in what has always been an interesting game, and this one was no exception. Jacoby gets it started on the first possession with a front top bank shot, 3 points. And then Stephen feeds Jordan for an easy basket. Later, Jacoby drives the lane for 2 more. And then Steve hits from the baseline. And after 1, the Panthers lead by 2. In the second quarter, Jerry Coleman is in, and he makes a drive and dishes it to Jordan for the score. And then Stephen makes a nice drive and hoop. On a break, Jerry passes to Douglas Murata for the score. And then Stephen shoots a baseline shot. It's good. And with the clock ticking down, Stephen takes the baseline to score, but they only gave him 3 points, which tied things at 29 at the half. In the third, Jacoby nails a 3-point hoop, and then Douglas says, "I like that spot," and he hits one from there. Jerry drives and backhands to Miles for the layup. And after 3, the Skeeters lead by 2. Clarence Taylor is in and snares an offensive rebound, spins and scores to tie the game. And then down by 4 with a minute and a half left, Douglas makes a nice drive for 2 down the lane. At a timeout, Coach Chisholm outlined some plays. This interception by Jordan and the ensuing hoop by Jacoby tied the game with a minute to go. Holding for the final shot, the Skeeters score and get fouled to go up by 2 with 44 seconds left. And unedited, here's the remainder of this game. That final score should have been 65 because that was a 3-point shot that Stephen hit at the buzzer. Stephen had 17 points. Jacoby and Douglas had 14 in one of the most exciting ending games ever. Then on Friday night, the Panthers started their District 7 6A play, hosting the 5-5 Irving Tigers, and the superintendent of our school district sure knows who to sit by at a basketball game. The Panthers take the tip and in their first possession score when Jacoby drives the lane and gets the favorable rim bounce. Ian feeds Jordan for 2. And then Jacoby again, but this time for 3. As the teams are swapping baskets early. Douglas is ahead of the pack, but when he misses, Stephen is there to complete the play. Leading by 1, and the clock running out again this quarter, and it's Jacoby's turn. And he does it. Panthers 20, Tigers 16 after 1 quarter. In the second, Douglas makes the good pass to Jordan. Down the lane for 2. Avoiding a flop call, Douglas drives the lane. Stops and pops. Then he hits a 3-point shot. Stephen hits a 3-point shot of his own. Miles Bennett is in, and he hits a shot from behind that arc on the floor, too. And at the half, it's 35-29 Panthers. In the third, Jordan takes a nice pass from Stephen for 2. And then Cameron, bounce pass, Douglas, 2. Jacoby makes a smooth drive and hoop. For the 10th straight Panther points to open the third quarter. And then later, after an Irving mini rally, C.J. Taylor makes a tough rebound and basket. Then C.J. feeds Keon Hoskins for a bucket. And after 3, it's 55-40 Panthers. In the fourth, Stephen drives and banks it home. And Jacoby's still around, and he hits a 3-point shot. And then when he's trapped down low, he gets the ball out to Cameron, who drives the lane for 2. It's a little blurry at first, but Miles Bennett is in and hits a rainbow. Bryant Hill pops a field goal off of the free throw line. Are you ready? With the clock ticking way down again, it's Keon's turn. At the buzzer. That one for 3. Final. Panthers 75 and the Tigers 48. Jordan had 14. Jacoby 13. Stephen 11 and Douglas 10 as 11 Panthers were in the scoring column. The Monday night of the holiday break, something called Massive Monday was held at the Sandra Meadows Memorial Arena with the Panthers playing the third of 3 games, and their opponent is Dallas Lincoln, the Tigers. And early on, Jacoby passes to Cameron, who misses a 3-point shot, but Douglas is there to rebound and score. Later, Ian drives it for 2 and 1. And then Cameron splits the defense for the hoop. Jordan hits a nice baseline shot. And then late in the quarter, CJ nails a 18-footer. And after 1, the Panthers hold a 13-9 lead. Douglas opens the second with a shot from behind that arc on the floor that goes. And then Cameron makes a runner in the lane. Keon passes to Jordan on a break, and he does a spinning move and scores. And then Stevens spots a lonesome Miles Bennett for a snowbird. And at the half, the Panthers cling to a 24-22 lead. Steven opens the third, hitting a baseline shot, and he was fouled. Then he takes a pass from Jacoby for two more after Lincoln had tied the score. Jordan takes a Douglas pass and scores in the lane. Down by two, Steven hits a field goal from the free throw line. After three, the Tigers have a 44-37 lead. Jacoby makes a nice rebound and hoop early in the fourth. And then down by six, Douglas cuts it to three with this rainbow. Lincoln scored 8 straight points before Jacoby makes this nice driving basket. But the Panthers come up short this night. Final. Dallas Lincoln 69 and the Panthers 58. Douglas had 13, Jacoby 10, and Jordan had 10 as the Panthers suffer their third loss of the season. On Wednesday, the Dallas ISD held their 78th Holiday Invitational. And this year the Panthers only had to go to Ellis Davis Fieldhouse. That's at Polk and Daniel-Dale. You can almost see it from Duncanville. The first game was with Grace Preparatory Academy, and this one was close all the way. Early on, Cameron drives the lane and scores. And then on a break, it's 1-on-4, and Cameron scores again. Glad Cameron didn't miss the bus as he nails a three-point basket. CJ drives and scores. And then Steven avoids a flop for a 2-and-1. The Panthers lead by 2 with the clock running out, and Grace Prep hits a three-point shot to lead 14-13 after 1. Jordan opens the second with a curling shot in the lane. Then he drives the lane for a 2. And 1. And at the half, it's 25-23 Panthers. As he opened the game, Cameron drives and scores. And on this one, he draws a foul. Cameron passes out to Jacoby, who hits a floater. And after 3, the Panthers cling to a 1-point lead. Down by 3, Jacoby hits a three-point shot to tie the game. Then he drives the lane for 2 more as the lead is going back and forth. Jacoby